begin the day with a fire that was discovered at a commercial residence on McNabb Street. On TV, employees saw the building around 6 a.m. at 373 McNabb Street, which is home to the Natural Health Center and All-Star Trophies. The building has experienced extensive damage with multiple fire trucks on scene with the command unit to try and contain the flames. McNabb Street is closed from Allard to Pine Street while crews investigate. We will update this story as we learn more. Yesterday, the University of Ottawa Refugee Hub visited Sault Ste. Marie to deliver an information session about the renewal of its successful refugee sponsorship program called the Blended Visa Office Referred Program. Under this program, the UNHCR identifies refugees to come to Canada, and the Canadian government and sponsor groups share settlement costs. All refugees sponsored to Canada undergo rigorous security, legal, and health checks. Back in 2018, the fund supported 150 groups in 49 Canadian communities who together sponsored over 650 refugees. Currently, there are over 1,000 spaces yet to be matched for arrival in 2019. On TV dropped by the information session.
The BEVO program, I think we have a bit of a...
Yeah, so I'm at the Civic Centre in Sault Ste. Marie, and I came here to talk to local sponsors, the local immigration partnership and the settlement sector here, as well as city members, to talk about our BEVO fund, which is a fund that covers the cost of settlement for sponsors who want to settle refugees into Sault Ste. Marie. And there was quite a lot of interest, and hopefully we'll see some sponsorship groups here in the Sault. Tomorrow I'm off to Thunder Bay on the world's smallest plane, and I'll be in PEI after that. But also people from our program have travelled out to the Maritimes, from Antigonish to Cape Breton to Halifax and St. John's. We're also out at the moment in BC in the Okanagan. We'll be going to Victoria. We've been to Saskatoon and Winnipeg. So we're really trying to reach every single province. Our goal this year is to have sponsorship in every province. So we're working on it. We'd like to see New Brunswick and PEI come to the table, and we think sponsorship could really be a great step for those provinces. And then we have other provinces like Ontario and Nova Scotia, who are really leading the charge and showing that there's a lot of capacity and will to do sponsorship. Yeah, well, there's a lot of communities in Canada who have issues with retaining populations and keeping people engaged, and we're seeing that bringing families into your community, especially families who are being resettled, have a really positive impact on your local economy, on the schools, and on your community. And especially private sponsorship, it's this wonderful kind of community building practice where you can get people together in your community from all walks of life, whether it's through your church or whether it's through your workplace, your school, and bringing people together to provide what we call the Canadian hug, that kind of first welcome, participation in a family or an individual's move to your community has enormous benefits for both the newcomers but also your local community and seeing it thrive. The face of sponsorship in Canada is really changing. Traditionally, I think a lot of people are aware that in the 70s, church groups across Canada came together to form sponsorship groups for boat people who are fleeing Vietnam and East Asia. And since then, we've seen a lot of new styles of sponsorship, whether it's local neighborhood groups who are getting together, whether it's employees at a workplace, whether it's a sports group, whether it's a diaspora group, whether it's people who've been sponsored themselves who are now sponsoring other people because they...
These are serious allegations. We need to get to the bottom of it. It represents a pattern of behavior where this Prime Minister has attempted to silence those who would criticize him. Yesterday, he was asked the question. He attempted to defend it by saying very similar words to what he said when we heard his defense of the SNC Lavalin scandal.
Conservative MP said Tuesday the Liberals are trying to cover up an alleged attempt to pressure former diplomats into clearing public comments on China with the government. In the aftermath of an emergency session of Parliamentary Committee for Foreign Affairs, opposition leader Andrew Scheer accused the government of systematically trying to silence his critics.
Diplomat, they hold
short
that
of anything
position
that breaches the Official Secrets Act, they have every right and every responsibility to contribute that expertise to the Canadian public. By the same token, any time that the PMO, the Prime Minister's office, is invoked, then clearly anyone in the public servant knows what is implied by leveraging that title, and that it is a way of communicating a severity and a seriousness to the conversation, and that they would like you to behave in a certain way.
Donald Trump has a vision of how to win, and he's gotten out there and done it. He said if there's something wrong in your life, if your life is not working, if you're under a lot of economic pressure, blame them. Blame people who don't look like you, blame people who don't sound like you.
The Democratic candidates for president clashed in a debate that laid bare the struggle between a call for revolutionary policies and a desperate desire to defeat President Donald Trump. Night 2 Wednesday, Detroit promises for more of the same.
What's wrong right now is that we have a government, we have a Washington that works great for the wealthy, for the well-connected, for the people with money. It's just not working for anyone else. But in a democracy, we got a chance to change that. And that's what 2020 is all right.
Thanks so much.
Here is the irony, and I hope everybody in America knows this. We right now in Detroit, Michigan. You and I can take a walk. In 15 minutes, we'll be in Canada. In Canada, when you have major surgery, which would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in this country, in Canada, you don't take out your wallet. In Canada, you can go to any doctor you want, any hospital that you want. Meanwhile, in this country, we have over 80 million people who are either uninsured or underinsured, and that has everything to do with the fact that the drug companies and the insurance companies last year made $100 billion in profits. The function of healthcare is to provide quality care to all, not to see the drug companies and insurance companies make billions in profits.